All right, y'all, we got 30 craziest 4th of July accidents ever. First off, happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Stay safe because fireworks are not toys. You know what I'm saying? You got to be real careful with lighting fireworks. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this video was actually on 4th of July last year. So we're going to be reacting to this video, 30 craziest 4th of July accidents ever. So let's see.
This is where many spectators were sitting. Some suffered burns, others were hit by projectiles like this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're looking at reported cases of 4th of July celebrations or preparations that went horribly wrong.
A fireworks accident killed a man on the 4th of July in South Carolina.
Car wash wipeout. Danielle Barse worked at a Detroit car wash where she decided to set off commercial quality fireworks without permission in the parking lot. This was the first in a series of unwise decisions. Barse wasn't in safe proximity when one firework ignited, literally blowing up in her face. Detective Mike Welch described the explosive that hit Barse as, quote, a 3-inch mortar bomb. More than 20 additional mortars were ignited in the process, rendering rescue efforts difficult as sparks flew. Making the experience even more traumatic, Barse died with her young son and fiancé present. A few others were also in the area, including another woman who helped Barse with the illegal explosives, which were supposedly imported from China. Cannon fodder. During the early hours of July 5, 2006, a man was rushed to the ER after losing most of their left middle finger. The resident who relayed this incident to the Darwin Awards initially assumed this was a firework accident, typical of the holiday. To his surprise, the patient was also covered in gunpowder, having fired a homemade cannon. Following a night of drinking, the man and his wife decided to finish off the leftover gunpowder with one last bang. He was smoking while doing so, prematurely igniting the cannon as he packed the powder with a broomstick, which shot back at him. According to the doctor, the amputation led the man to ask how he'd drive without a middle finger. Jet ejection.
See, bro, y'all gotta be careful, bro. And it's actually crazy because it's actually illegal to pop fireworks at certain places, in certain states, bro. So, like I say, y'all just gotta be careful out there, bro. Real talk.
What sounds like something out of a cartoon was an all-too-real tragedy from 1980. At a 4th of July air show in Philadelphia, a young John Pigford ejected himself from a Navy jet. The S-3 Viking was put on display, but proved more functional than anticipated. Enduring head trauma and serious burns, Pigford was rushed to the hospital where he succumbs to his injuries. Several others, including Pigford's brother, were injured during the blast, although there were no other reported casualties. A Navy spokesperson claimed that the seat ejection required a few complex maneuvers, commenting, quote, how the child was able to carry it out, I do not know. What we want to know is why the jet wasn't fully disarmed before letting civilians in. Do or dive. If you're diving into your pool, we'd strongly advise not doing it from the patio roof.
Jump, Bart, jump! Jump, Bart, jump! You got it!
That's what a man from Houston did on July 4th, 1998, via the Darwin Awards. While leaping from that height wasn't the wisest move, the man's true folly was failing to consider how deep the water was. The above-ground pool, which was installed the previous month, had a depth of only 4 feet. The man was 6 feet tall. Do the math. He sadly didn't, diving in head first. Legal action was taken against the contractor who put in the pool. The plaintiffs blamed the location and installation, despite previously rating the service excellent. Meanwhile, the jumper died the following December. Scottstown, Ohio fire. During his teenage years, Todd Hall suffered a skateboarding accident that sent him into a coma. Hall remained unresponsive for weeks, with a fraction of his brain having to be removed. Hall survived, but almost a decade later, in 1996, he tossed a lit cigarette onto a shelf of fireworks in an occupied store. While it's hard to say what exactly prompted Hall to do this, some believe it was supposed to be a prank. In any case, the ensuing fire killed 9 and injured 11.
There was a lot of lives changed that day, and
Hall was deemed incompetent to stand trial, instead being sent to a mental hospital. The tragedy continues to loom over the Scottstown, Ohio area every 4th of July. As for Hall, he passed away in 2015.
But if there's anything that hasn't changed, it's that feeling of heartbreak experienced by those who lost someone on that fateful day.
Uncle Sam splodes. For his 4th of July block party in 2024, Alan Ray McGrew wanted to go all out. Dressing up as Uncle Sam and dancing while smoking a cigarette wasn't enough. He put on a fireworks display, which fatally backfired when McGrew made himself part of the show. The South Carolina local put an ignited firework atop his red, white, and blue hat. The hat didn't provide the protective barrier that McGrew apparently expected, costing him his life.
41-year-old Alan McGrew ignited a large firework device and set it upon his head.
If only he'd been wearing his thinking cap. Alan's wife tried to warn her husband, who was seen as a showboater, but it was too late to stop what was already happening. Shortly before his death, McGrew called his wife his rock and his son his heart. Hog heist. Another story confirmed true by the Darwin Awards. This automobile accident occurred on July 4th, 1991. 3 men named Ashley, Billy, and James spent the holiday drinking and igniting fireworks when they got a hankering for pork chops. Rather than go to the local butcher, the boys drove to a farm hell-bent on stealing a hog. They startled one 400-pound porker, causing a stampede of swine.
400 pounds?
The boys drove to a farm hell-bent on stealing a hog. They startled one 400-pound porker, causing a stampede of swine.
Who's there?
The farmer chased them off with his shotgun, but the trio still managed to nab the hog. They almost made a clean getaway until the driver lost control of the vehicle, causing all 3 unbuckled men to be ejected. The only survivor was the pig, which had been dragged down the road for nearly half a mile. Pikachu firework. Fireworks isn't a part of Pikachu's Learn set. At least it wasn't until YouTuber iShowSpeed came along. While Speed has a reputation...
We know about this. We know about Speed lighting the Pikachu firework in his room. We saw this.
For being dramatic, he went overboard, even for him, on July 4th, 2022. Speed lit a Pikachu-shaped firework in his room, on his bed.
Let's light.
Please don't do this, y'all. Do not do this, bro.
The Pikachu one, y'all.
Even if it was just a sparkler, as Speed seemingly suspected, this would have been a safety hazard. The firework was more powerful than anticipated, blowing Pikachu's lid. Speed sped off to find his mother as the explosive only grew more out of control, firing from different directions and falling off the bed. The room continued to fill with smoke before a firefighter arrived on the scene.
What happened? A firework went off?
Yeah, a firework went out, then it just like went boom. Like, it's, I don't know.
We wonder if the Squirtle Squad ever had this kind of problem. Matisse Kivlenieks, a professional ice hockey goalie whose career spanned Latvia's Prisma Riga, the Cleveland Monsters, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, Matisse Kivlenieks was trained to be on his guard. Defending oneself from a hockey puck is one thing, but fireworks are another story. The Latvian native experienced his first and last Independence Day in 2021 while visiting his coach's Michigan home.
Police say they got a call about an injury at a private residence Sunday just after 10 p.m.
In addition to the 4th, Kivlenieks was there to celebrate the coach's daughter's wedding. This happy occasion turned lethal when a firework tipped over and struck Kivlenieks. Enduring severe chest trauma, the Blue Jackets player's death was ruled an accident.
Apparently it caused some internal damage.
Fans, loved ones, and teammates paid tribute to Kivlenieks amid this devastating loss. The number 80 remains a symbol of his memory. Patriotic tetanus.
Man.
This next one is more of a phenomenon than a singular accident, but it's a chaotic part of Independence Day history that fits our criteria. Firework-related injuries on the 4th aren't a modern trend. They can be traced back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Back then, fireworks brought another risk that isn't as common today, thanks to vaccines. In short, explosives cause injuries, which caused infections like tetanus. So many people contracted tetanus due to 4th of July mishaps that it came to be known as patriotic tetanus or patriotic jaw lock. In 1903 alone, there were over 400 reported deaths linked to patriotic tetanus. Tetanus can be more easily treated and prevented now, but there's still no cure for recklessness. The beginning of a Stay Safe campaign. When handling fireworks, a person's life can change in a literal flash. In 2017, Aiden Valdez was at a neighborhood block party for the 4th. 1 second, the Colorado teenager had a firework in his right hand. The next, there was a bright spark, and Valdez's ears were ringing.
Next thing I knew, it blows up, and my ears are ringing, and then everything's white.
Finding his bearings, Valdez realized his ears weren't the worst of his worries. Valdez lost 4 fingers on his left hand, as well as his left eye. He required 4 surgeries, but Valdez hasn't allowed this loss to hold him back. Valdez continued to pursue his passion for wrestling, competing in national tournaments. He became an advocate for fireworks safety, giving away 1,500 safety classes. Valdez also created a coloring book full of safety tips.
I just want to spread the word so it doesn't happen to any other kids.
National Mall Firework Frenzy.
Thousands of fireworks will light the D.C. skies during what's expected to be a breathtaking event.
It doesn't get more patriotic than fireworks in Washington, D.C., but the National Mall became a war zone in 1987. Kathy Eldreth was about 60 yards from the fenced-off safety zone when a flame landed on her blanket. Putting it out, Eldreth was struck in the back by a fireball the size of a softball. Eldreth was then helicoptered to the hospital where she was treated for third-degree burns. She was one of 4 in the area who were hospitalized for similar injuries, while 25 more were taken to the Red Cross. Moisture in the air likely contributed to these unforeseen accidents. Over a decade later, there were still reports of children, quote, chasing the charred bits of firework paper that fell in a rain of ash.
Ann says you'll see the skies rain in gold willows before the rapid-fire grand finale.
A spark goes out too soon.
Fire departments say without a permit, there's still too many dangers.
Before even turning 21, Austin McLeod was married with a son and stepson. Only a few months after time.
Damn, that early?
Austin McLeod was married with a son and stepson. Before even turning 21,
Before even turning 21, bruh.
Austin McLeod was married with a son and stepson.
That's crazy, bro. That's too early.
Only a few months after tying the knot with his new wife, McLeod was gearing up for their Independence Day festivities in the backyard. Tragically, this was the last holiday the young husband and father would celebrate with his family. McLeod planned a fireworks display for their cookout when the explosives unexpectedly went off, striking him in the head and neck. The multi-shelled launcher is believed to have malfunctioned. When McLeod went to check it, his fate was sealed. An ambulance arrived on the scene, but by the time McLeod arrived at the hospital, he was gone. The brightest little light.
The community of Kaysville is in shock following a very serious incident that canceled 4th of July events for the city.
From a young age, Marcy Hill was known for spreading cheer, becoming a proud member of the Patriot Cheer All-Stars in Utah. As her GoFundMe campaign would state, Marcy passed away doing what she loved, being with her team. Hill was reportedly on a float performing with her team during the Kaysville 4th of July parade. While trying to get candy from a trailer, she was pulled under the tires. Hill was taken to the hospital in critical condition, sadly never recovering. An investigation found no wrongdoing on behalf of the vehicle's driver or the parade organizers, but new safety measures were implemented going forward. Leaving behind her parents and 3 older brothers, Hill is remembered as, quote, the brightest little light.
I was heartbroken. I thought it was really it was tragic and it was just really sad.
Anarchy on 6th Street Bridge.
Now at 10, scenes of Independence Day chaos on LA's 6th Street Bridge as the celebrating gets out of control in dangerous ways.
For some, it isn't 4th of July without illegal fireworks. But how far is too far? Wherever the line is, it was definitely crossed in 2023 when a group turned LA's 6th Street Bridge into the Wild West.
Chaos and carelessness as revelers shot off illegal fireworks, climbed the viaduct's arches, and sped on the wrong side of the road.
People set off fire.
Don't do this. Definitely don't do this. And you heard what you heard what he said. Illegal fireworks. I said that earlier.
Fireworks across the bridge, with one civilian packing what looked like a homemade rocket launcher. The chaos didn't end there. The mob was seen climbing the viaduct's arches while cars drove on the wrong.
How they climb up there?
The mob was seen climbing the viaduct's arches while cars drove on the wrong side of the road. While many were endangered, there were no reported injuries. On any other night, this might have attracted the full force of the...
Dang, bro, look at this!
There were no reported injuries. On any other night, this might have attracted the full force of the local authorities. Being July 4th, though, fires were put out all over LA, making it easier for the bridge blowout to escalate. Instant ignition.
What started as a day of celebration
Everybody's probably having grill outs. Families come together.
quickly turned into a nightmare.
Not all fireworks are the same. Some are designed to be ignited manually, allowing a person enough time to reach a safe distance after lighting the fuse. This is not the kind that came into Brian Simpson's possession. The 48-year-old Kentucky man got his hands on a commercial-grade firework that was meant to be set off electronically. Whether or not Simpson knew this, he made the ill-advised decision to detonate it with a homemade mortar tube, cutting the wick in half. Without delay, the firework exploded right in front of Simpson, the injuries proving fatal. There's a lot that Simpson could have done differently, but if there's one takeaway from this cautionary tale, it's to always check the instructions.
Florence man is dead after trying to light off a commercial-grade firework in his driveway at a 4th of July gathering.
Truck explosion.
Blackburn Warner was a junior firefighter that day, just 15 years old, when 680 pounds of fireworks were accidentally set off inside a truck 30 yards away from him.
We're all familiar with the phrase, "the show must go on." This was easier said than done for Ocracoke Island in 2009. The community was getting ready for their annual 4th of July fireworks display. Around 9 a.m., though, the truck carrying the fireworks blew up, claiming the lives of 4 workers inside. A fifth person in the back of the truck managed to escape, albeit with burns on his face and hands. Needless to say, there wasn't a fireworks show that night, or the following year, or the year after that. 7 years passed until fireworks returned to Ocracoke. With new laws helping to prevent another tragedy, the island decided to bring back this tradition in hopes of boosting tourism.
Horn hopes this year's show will pave the way for future celebrations and help restore a tradition on the island.
Salute cannon.
Now, this incident happened sometime after 11 p.m. yesterday near the corner of Main and 160th Street here in Park Township.
Technically, this incident occurred in the late hours of July 3rd, 2023, but those involved were clearly getting into the 4th of July spirit. By midnight, the celebration had burst into a disaster. When authorities arrived at the Park Township neighborhood, houses and cars were damaged, with fireworks present. 9 people were injured, and a woman named Jana Daniels lost her life. Upon further inspection, the authorities realized that commercial fireworks weren't responsible. An inebriated Anthony John Meyer had lit a salute cannon full of gunpowder.
The explosion damaged several nearby homes and cars. The cause is still under investigation.
Although his homemade device was only supposed to make a loud boom, it ultimately exploded, sending metal pieces flying. While Daniel's death was deemed an accident, Meyer was sentenced to a year in jail with probation and community service.
If I could go back
a year
and reverse it, I would. Unfortunately, we all have to live with this for the rest of our lives.
A viral boom.
This was not the fireworks show that anybody expected that night. And yeah, we talked to the family and they said that they watched as 4th of July turned their driveway into a war zone.
Many 4th of July incidents make headlines, but only a handful are captured on camera. This Nebraska family wasn't looking to go viral when they lit fireworks in their front yard.
Why do you have... There's so much stuff going wrong right here. Why is there a firework by this car right here, first of all?
This Nebraska family wasn't looking to go viral when they lit fireworks.
Why? Yo. This is crazy, bro. Just look at this. Just look at this.
Are captured on camera. This Nebraska family wasn't looking to go viral when they lit fireworks in their front yard. One firework didn't go up as planned, sending sparks flying in all directions. Just as the situation seemed to defuse.
Look at all that smoke, bro.
Sending sparks flying in all directions. Just as the situation seemed to defuse, all hell broke loose. That one firework ignited the other fireworks in a box behind the minivan, sending the family running from the blast. Although the Simply Safe home security system recorded the whole thing, the family had no intention of sharing the footage. Somehow the video wound up on Reddit, spreading like wildfire. Remaining anonymous,
Bro, look at the views. 40.6 million views, bro. Crazy.
The family informed the press that nobody was injured. Perhaps even more astonishing, the minivan is still fully functional.
There was actually...
Which is surprising, bro, because the way them fireworks were set off right by the vehicle, bro, I thought the vehicle was over with, bro. Somehow it's still functioning.
Like wildfire. Remaining anonymous, the family informed the press that nobody was injured. Perhaps even more astonishing, the minivan is still fully functional.
There was actually no injuries. Everyone is well. No property damage. So yeah, we lucky.
Shark attack.
A Long Island beach closed to swimmers after a shark sighting. It's coming right by here.
We like to tell ourselves that Jaws was only a movie, but shark attacks on the 4th of July aren't unheard of. Visiting Fire Island with a couple of friends, Ludmila Imag took a dip in the shallow waters. Letting out a scream of pain, Imag felt as if she had been ensnared in a trap.
I screamed to my friends, something is biting me. I felt like I was in a trap. It was holding onto me.
It wasn't long until Imag realized this trap was the jaws of a shark. Thankfully, it wasn't a great white. According to Imag's friends, the beast was between 4 and 5 feet long. The circumstances were alarming nonetheless, but Imag kept her cool.
She was super calm, right? Like, this is not what you expect from shark bites, or bites in general.
Reaching into the shark's mouth, she freed herself and returned to shore with minor injuries. Imag considers herself lucky, especially considering what went down on Amity Island. The boat blowout.
Saw one of the boats caught on fire. Actually, I had a coworker say that one of the boats was on fire, so I rushed, jumped on the forklift as quick as I could.
Sharks might keep some people out of the water on the 4th of July, but there's another dangerous foe we constantly underestimate: fireworks. In 2013, 18 boats were damaged by fire near the Skylaunch Marina on Lake Union, resulting in $1.5 million worth of damage. The Seattle Fire Department determined that the blaze stemmed from illegal fireworks, which were shot off from a hill not too far away from the marina. The annual fireworks display at Lake Union is typically a lovely sight, but spectators got more than they bargained for that year. The only upside is that nobody was killed or seriously injured, with just one firefighter suffering a minor knee injury.
I gave it a shot, and then I just had to leave it up.
Bro, 18 boats though? Wow.
The fire department at that point, no one got hurt, so that was great.
When sparklers attack.
4th of July celebration takes a dangerous turn in Claremont County. 7 people were hurt, some of them seriously injured.
Sometimes it just takes a tiny little spark to make a big boom. A group of people in Ohio learned this the hard way one fateful 4th of July. As roughly 20 individuals partied inside, several children played outside with sparklers. When a spark from one of the sparklers landed in a bag full of unused fireworks, a recipe for disaster was ignited. The fireworks went off, and a total of 7 people were reportedly injured. One woman was left with serious burns covering half of her body, while the person hurt the worst was a little girl.
While they recover, investigators are looking into the possibility of charges.
An instant tragedy.
Now, a lot of people in the town of Calais say they're just speechless and in shock and disbelief.
Whenever fireworks are set off in an unsafe manner, there's a huge risk for injury or an even worse occurrence. Tragically, a man named Devin Staples lost his life in a terrible pyrotechnic accident. He died while setting off fireworks with his friends on the 4th of July, 2015. The actor had decided to place a reloadable fireworks mortar tube on top of his head. Shortly after igniting the firework, Staples died instantly in what his brother described as a freak accident. The terrible incident left his family and friends devastated on what was intended to be a joyful occasion.
He definitely left the party, that's for sure.
Explosives in Central Park.
Morning, the investigation into a bizarre explosion in Central Park that seriously injured a young man from Virginia.
Over the 4th of July weekend in 2016, college student Connor Golden was climbing down a rock in Central Park. As misfortune would have it, the teenage tourist stepped on a handmade, shock-sensitive explosive that was inside a black plastic bag. The impact caused the explosive to detonate, blowing off Golden's foot. The blast was so loud that it interrupted the explosive to detonate.
Look at this.
Blowing off Golden's foot. The blast was so loud that it interrupted the nearby funeral service for Elie Wiesel, a Nobel Prize winner and Holocaust survivor. Golden's left leg was subsequently amputated, although he would walk again with the use of a prosthetic leg paid for partially via Kickstarter. The moral of the story: always watch your step, and never leave explosives lying around.
That this was an explosive device that was placed or put in this area with a specific intent to harm any individual.
Tragedy on the water.
It's a tragedy for us to see something like this happen. This is probably the worst accident that I've seen in my 11-year.
The fireworks fiasco in Seattle might have ruined boats, but property damage is inconsequential compared to the loss of a human life. After a Miami fireworks show wrapped up, tragedy struck the Dinner Key Marina, where 3 boats collided in a catastrophic crash. 22 individuals were involved in the crash, which ultimately claimed the lives of Andy Garcia, Kelsey Karpiak, Victoria Dempsey, and Jason Soleimani. In addition to those 4 fatalities, 7 were left injured. Given the scorching July weather, it's no wonder the sea calls out to many people on the 4th of July. Accidents like this will motivate anybody to stay on dry land, though.
The families of everyone involved with this are still trying to piece together exactly what happened and what caused this to happen. Some of them are forced to plan funerals at this time.
Simi Valley fireworks fail.
In towns across America,
Damn,
an estimated 14,000 fireworks shows, but this one north of Los Angeles suddenly turning terrifying.
When people are messing around with fireworks at home, there's obviously going to be some risk involved. When people attend a professional fireworks display open to the public, though, they expect things to go off without a hitch. This wasn't the case in Simi Valley, California, where a 2013 fireworks show resulted in a major 4th of July fail. A pyrotechnic shell went off in its mortar tube, causing a chain reaction that sent fireworks blasting towards an audience of thousands. The area suddenly turned into a combat zone, leaving dozens injured, although fortunately, nobody was killed.
Firefighters and medics immediately on the scene. 36 people injured.
The perilous parade.
Wait, how many?
Immediately on the scene, 36 people injured.
36 people injured.
The perilous parade. Like fireworks shows, parades are an Independence Day tradition for numerous families. In 2013, however, the Liberty Fest 4th of July parade ended tragically for one family. On a busy street in Edmond, Oklahoma, Quentin Hooper drove a float with several karate students on board. Among the students was Hooper's young son, Aiden, who fell off the flatbed trailer and was accidentally run over by the float.
Coach says between the injured player, his panicked teammates, and the people in the crowd, it was pandemonium as he waited for the ambulance.
A nurse and a police officer performed CPR on Aiden, but he was unfortunately pronounced dead upon arriving at the hospital. Following the unspeakable nightmare, Quentin and his wife, Susanna, have strived to keep their son's memory alive through the Aiden Hooper Legacy Fund.
The coach adds the boy's family wants people to know they don't blame anyone for what happened.
Long Island car crash.
Tonight, as survivors of the crash recover, police are trying to figure out how this happened.
While the water isn't always the safest place to be on the 4th of July, the roads aren't much better. Speeding down a slippery street in Long Island, Gustave Geyer swerved his 1990 Chevy pickup truck into another lane. The truck crashed into a 2014 Nissan Altima with 4 adults and a baby boy inside.
In a no passing zone. No. At what's described as a high rate of speed above the speed limit.
Thus ensued a fatal collision that not only claimed Geyer's life, but also killed 3 of the Altima's passengers. The baby, who had a few minor injuries, and his mother, who was left with life-threatening burns, were the only survivors. According to reports, Geyer had a blood alcohol level twice the legal limit. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications. Jesse William Burley. Please. Your notifications. Jesse William Burley.
Police identified the victim as Jesse William Burley.
This accident is so brutal and bizarre that it sounds like something out of a Coen Brothers movie, especially seeing how it took place in Fargo, North Dakota. According to eyewitnesses, 41-year-old Jesse William Burley walked into the middle of the street to set off a 4th of July firework. He lit it up, a puff of smoke appeared, and then boom. Resident Chris Hansen immediately rushed to his neighbor's aid, only to find that Burley had been beheaded. Hansen later stated that...
No, we didn't just hear this.
Neighbor's aid.
He was what?
Only to find that Burley had been beheaded.
Oh, Lord, no. Are you serious? Are you...
Hansen immediately rushed to his neighbor's aid, only to find that Burley had been beheaded. Hansen later stated that the fireworks came with a warning that read, "If found, please report to the U.S. government."
Authorities are not sure if the firework was bought in a store or homemade, but they think it was some type of mortar style of firework.
Do you have any 4th of July safety tips? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, man. Hey, RIP to everybody in the video. Once again, happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Stay safe. Don't be outside all night and just enjoy yourself. So that's the end of this video. Stay tuned for the next one. And we out of here. See y'all in the next one.